yes, lonely place to be in those days. As I said, I was the first Asian female officer that reached the rank of a sergeant. It was a massive learning curve. Though I'm very energetic, but when you are around people, you sort of observe and you become a bit closed, and you're thinking, I want to address issues, but sometimes my colleagues will probably outspoken more than me. So it took me some time and building my confidence in management position to become myself and realise the direction I want the policing to be taken. So I've had challenges during my journey of management. It even came to a position that when I actually, for my own values, when I was thinking what was best for my neighbourhood policing area, which it was just down the road at Radford Road, when we were restructuring and I moved staff around, and when I was asked to reverse my decision, bear in mind my other colleagues had already moved staff, I was asked to reverse my decision, and no strong rationale behind that, and I made a stance to say, I've done it in consultation with the local councillor, who unfortunately has passed away, Councillor Ibrahim, bless him, and the local neighbourhood development officer. So my consultation with moving staff from the meet and the needs of the community was done in consultation. My peers, whether they did that consultation or not, I don't know, but that question to reverse the decision was only based towards me. So I dug my heels and I basically said, I have done it for these reasons, and if you feel that you still wish to reverse my decision, I will then step aside and no longer work in that role. Because when you believe in something, you will have to challenge it. And I remember speaking to the chief superintendent, and I was emotional because, it was like one rule for me and not the rules for the others. And I went, that on that occasion, no, that's by principle, it's by values, it's about meeting the needs of the community. So yeah, I have had those challenges, but equally, needless to say, they left me and my changes stayed. But I have actually had some positives during my management in policing, in particular around neighbourhood policing. And I share this with you because I'm quite proud of this. When I became the neighbourhood policing inspector for Radford Road, crime was high, engagement with our communities was low. And year by year, with the briefing I gave to the neighbourhood policing team, working closely with our partners, because I grew up in the area, it was also an extra passion for me to say there's nothing wrong with our area. It's about communication, about transparency, about problem solving. And year on year, I was able to improve our relationship with our community, and we were problem solving the crimes in the area. And you could see from high crime to low engagement, year on year. It never got like that, but it was like that. So that was one of my successes. And as a result, when I went to America on a holiday, I actually involved in, it's another network, it's called International Police Association. And I had a couple of days out at St. Louis Police Department. And I was just explaining to a gentleman who was trying to get a bid in a very derelict area, which they've had a shooting and tensions were high in this particular community. And I actually explained to him what I did to change the policing area and our engagement. Unknown to me, he was actually making notes in his head, and that the following day the sergeant who took me out asked me if I was able to just visit him again so I could explain and draw some of the basics I was doing, like a two-prong approach, engagement, how to reduce crime. And he actually put that towards his training, his American officers, and towards the bid. And I got an email back to say that his new officers understood the principle of neighbourhood policing, and equally they got the secured funding. So that in itself is a success. So those happy moments have really made it meaningful. Working in schools was another success. When you've got victimisation with young people, I'm a great believer. Let's not criminalise young people unless we have to, but diversion prevention is very key. So I worked very closely with the inner city school, and we reduced victimisation and perpetrators of young people in that particular school. So that again, I thought this is where the changes happen. Policing to be seen is not just about enforcement, and I think we've gone for a decade due to resources, demands, where members of the community don't see the normal beat officer, the interaction they should have in between. That's what we're trying to bring back. The key purpose of policing is about prevention and detection. It's about reassurance. It's about knowing your community. We can't police without intelligence. And how do you get intelligence? You don't get it by behind a desk. You get it by talking to the community.